Pleasant greetings, everybody. Welcome to today's first EJA workshop with your host, King Sport. Of course, this is going to be a 1 hour presentation, which should have commenced since 1 p.m. And we apologize for the delayed start. We were taking care of some technical issues. Today's workshop is dubbed Let's Reason, right? And discussions today will surround the history of the union, the function of the union, the necessity of a union, trade unions in other areas, and how to pick a management team. And of course, your presenter is Mr. Everton Walton, and he's a great Jamaican king sport, and he has been a union member since the inception of EJA in 2018 November, and he has also been a union member since the 1980s. He has in-depth knowledge in the entertainment industry. He also has played on many stages and has been part of productions with well-known artists. Now, Kingsport, please unmute your mic, sir, and take over.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to you all. Yeah, I'm just trying to hook up this thing here properly. Yeah, can you hear me, Kisna?
I can hear perfectly, Kingsport. And
okay.
Can you turn your camera on, please?
Yeah, may I try to do that, but it not allow me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it not allow me at all. Yeah, try.
Once again, we want to welcome all the participants and all our viewers on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Just know that for persons on those platforms, the stream will be delayed by 10 seconds. We are still welcoming your input as we progress. Kingsford?
Yeah, I can't get my camera to open up at all. It's not doing it. I go to, let me see. May I try touch it, the camera thing on it now. It now function.
Kingsford,
but anyway,
we're going to ask you to disconnect and reconnect. So you exit the meeting and then we reconnect.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for the delay. Things will be sorted in a few as we try to get Kingsport to come back in with his video camera on. He's facing a little technical difficulties. So just bear with us momentarily as we get things underway.
Oh, Georgia, yeah. Oh, Georgia, yeah. Oh, girl. Mighty Georgia. I'm sitting there meditating, sweating in the sun. Felt like a million, felt like #1. Heights of summer, never felt that strong. Like a rock. 16, didn't have a care.
Hey, how is that now?
Working for peanuts, not a dime to spare. But I was asleep, solid
Live wire, man.
everywhere, like a rock.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So Kingsport is back after a short technical difficulty. He was having camera issues, and now I'm
Yeah.
going to hand over to Kingsport. Once again, welcome everybody.
Yes, we have a little technical difficulty, with the phone and thing. And yeah, as you all know, them phone I wasn't made by God. It was made by man. So, say anything can go wrong. Now, I want to touch on the history of the unions. Seeing the music union start out in the late 40s, early 50s here with some pioneer. And the union whole heap of injustice that go on, and um, musician has been treated badly and all them something, the hotels and all that. So the union begin back in them time there, and it work. It really work, and put musician up there because you see a whole heap of thing has changed over the years. Since the death of some great union presidents, and musicians now think the way they should. Them underestimate them values, number one. Them not look on the profession as a prestigious one. Musicians are brilliant people, brilliant people. And one at a time, them equate musicians to brain surgeons. The way we think, the way we move. And when you see like all the hotel them where we are work, and even the big stages them when we go abroad and a performance, so we are really guests. We are the guests. We are invited to come and perform for people. This is how entertainment is and how it should be looked at. So when them are belittle the musicians, them, especially in the hotel areas, I belittle them for on walk about yet, man. On this, on that, on not mix with the guests and all of these things. These things are where we fight for from way back in the 50s. You know, um, I have a lot of respect for people like Sammy Davis Jr., who go through a whole heap of struggle, and I have a bigger respect for Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin, because those two white men stand up for that little short man and tell them, say, no, because the man black, the man are coming at the front. He might come sit down around the table, eat and drink with us, and then we go perform. So when you say musicians inside of the hotel, them, are being treated like subservient workers, this is not right, because we are really guests inside of these establishments. Now look into the music business. Then we set up, when we say we, from way back when, we attack from the 18th century, copywriting organizations for music and playwrights, because playwright, Broadway, and all of these things are hand in hand thing. Now, check how brilliant the whole function of the music industry. It has changed, social media and all of that changed, but the foundation that is set is there and will never go away. And if you look at it, royalties collect, performers making billions of dollars for the industry, But what get to me, is how we as musicians in Jamaica are behind. We are so behind. Other islands are ahead of us. in terms of performances, the control of performances on them island, and no guy can come take with them work, unless them get a piece of the pie and all that. So we are really behind. And the main reason why we are behind is because we're not unionized. We're not together, unionized, organized, and centralized, and that is the function of a union. When we come together as musicians and decide, say, this is what we want for our industry, see it. Now, it is very necessary in order for us to be in a union. And I'm saying this because I see where we are in. Most of us who join a union now encourage other musicians to get into the union, because each one brings one to the fullness, and that's not happening right now. It really not happen. We need to get as much musicians as possible to join the union, and we organize up with our president how we're going to structure the thing, because we can't do it without government. We need the help of the government. So the main focus right now that's causing us to lose our industry, lose it to unfair contractors, being belittled as musicians in the hotels and even some of the big stages, because some of these performances, I am not going to say call the names are the big, but we don't know the big promoters now, because we don't have much big shows in Jamaica anymore. Say some performers have to pay to go on these stages to perform for these people. That's not right, And the union don't have any control over the stage them on the island, because the government have to help us to get these things done. And there's not enough of us inside of the union. And look how much musicians they're about. More and more the demand for musicians is increasing, because the man them now start building 1,000-room hotels and make billions and send it back where the money coming from to develop these places. We need to unionize, organize, and centralize ourselves. And next thing again, I want to leave this for last. I say a whole heap of musicians are complaining to the EJA about contracts, management, and all of these things. And the advice I want to give artists and even musicians to group and all these things, never pick a manager and sign nothing with them until 1 year pass. You give them a grace period and you see how these people are handling you. Once them come with them pretty talk and them fancy wording and papers, don't sign it. Tell them, say, you give them 1 year for manage you. And if you approve of how they're dealing with you and handling your career, then you sign with them. And do not sign anything unless you read it word for word. Go down and grab your dictionary and find out where every word mean in it, because them have a fancy way of wording things to put you in a trouble later on and own your material and own you too. So many artists complain, say, boy, I'm signing contract with your management team and them now do nothing for me. You shouldn't sign it in the first place. You're supposed to wait 1 year and see how the people them handle your business and handle your career. And if you approve, then you sign with them. But not sign nothing, not jumping and nothing like that, you know. And we kind of close with that, you know. So if anybody wants to say anything, I welcome it. I'm sure to get dry too.
Yes, gentle folks. So once again, we are live with the great Jamaican King Sport. His presentation is covering, the purpose of a trade union, the history of trade unions, and the function of a union, the necessity of a union, and how to pick your management team. Right now, he is on a small break, and we are willing to take some questions if you have any for us. Now, there's one question coming in, and Kingsport, the question to you, sir, is over the history of trade unions, there has not been one trade union that has anything successful to report for the entertainment industry or entertainers. Could you speak to any knowledge on this?
Let me see if I get the question right. The union has not report anything successful.
Well, yes, there is no report of a success story regarding any union over the history of unions for the entertainment industry or entertainers.
All right, first thing first, what I noticed, over the years with unions do not like to represent their members and make it publicly about the member business. And that me notice all the time because I had a problem with in the grill, we did have a manager named Michael Gardner from Ohio. A very rich, spoiled boy. He used to snort coke on them something too, behind her back. And that man bring down a portion of equipment. And we are working the equipment and paying him back for his equipment, right? Then all of a sudden, the man just switch power and decide, say, boy, he might sell the equipment them because the money not come in fast enough. We signed an agreement with him, We did, right, as a little agreement. And we signed it with him. And the man decides, well, they want to take equipment and sell them because he looked like he wanted coke or something. Something that going on with him. And I went to the union, Mr. Headley Jones, at the time. And Mr. Headley Jones write one letter give me and tell me, say, if you can't go to police station and Miguel. And the police them drive go over 3 hours. But talk to the man and show him, say, no, him can't do that because we have an agreement and rare. And that's how we get little justification. That never did make public. Then again, look into other things now, other privileges that musicians got over the years, which we are losing today. May I talk about a high pay musician was well paid back in the time. Food and drink and rooms, place to live if you're a resident band. Recently me hear one thing say the hotel they take away the room or the house where the musician them stay now for the week while they rehearse, and after rehearsal them have to go to work, and because of that them need a place to stay. Me say the hotel want to take it away from them. I don't know that work out yet. But all of these things where the union do, and now it coming like it's going in vain. So I would say there's a lot of things the union did for musicians and performers, cabaret and cabaret acts and everything. So I wouldn't say that the union no do nothing for musicians. I see the union benefiting our industry and protecting the rights for musicians. Them now go come out publicly and talk with things because it not worth it sometimes to do these things, you know. You see, cases that EJA look about where musicians get their money where that was owed to them. Now, I couldn't expect the president of the EJA if he walk out and say, well, Mr. J had to pay Mr. E, and Mr. E got him 100,000 or 200,000 from that money. I don't see the union doing that, you know, and that is a farmer reporting, but I don't see the union doing that.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you again to our first EJA workshop. It's dubbed Let's Reason. My name is Keesner Smith. I am the president of the Entertainers of Jamaica Association, and our presenter today is our esteemed great Jamaican king sport, Everton Walton. He is discussing the points, the history of the union, the function of the union, the necessity of the union, the trade unions in other areas, and how to pick a management team. Now, there have been key points that are being presented all day. Well, for the past 20 minutes. And we have more questions coming in, Kingsport. The next question is, why are trade unions treated as an issue instead of a fix?
It depends, on who is treating it as an issue. Because I know a couple of people outside here, Again, I can't call no names that don't like the union. Because number one, the union make them have to pay the musician what they owe them. The union tell the management that the musicians them deserve to be boarded because they live at a distance and they cannot commute so far in order to rehearse and to do a show the same night. They cannot commute. They need to be fed and they need to have them shower in them room and sleep. So I find that those people will have an issue with the union. Any more questions?
Oh, apologies. Right. Organizations aren't very receptive of trade unions, Kingsport. Also, government is not very receptive of trade unions. That's another question that's coming in. Can you respond to why this is so?
I can speak for Jamaica. I'm going to try not to get in any trouble by speaking out um, too much things. But the government do not like unions because the union is a thorn in them side. Once the government cannot control the union, them view the union as a thorn. Then let's put it that way, because in other countries, the government see the union as an asset, and they try to use it. Number one, a union have a portion of people inside of it, which means a portion of votes. Now, let me make reference to Joe Biden the other day. Joe Biden was endorsed by the union in a Pennsylvania, and he win the election because thousands of people inside of that union. Now, when you get one person, you have to look into this. This is statistic. If one person like your business, automatically 7 people from that one person will like your business. And from that 7, right, it will generate 7 times 7 again. So you see how popularity grows, and it grows rapidly. Now, there's a thing again that says if public servants, nurses, doctors, all of these police, all of these people, once you see these people, the military, once you see these people don't like your institution or don't like your government, the government generally lose the election because these people generate so much. Remember me tell about the 7 times 7, generate so much. So when you say you have a union with a body of people and the government can go in and say, well, Mr. President, if you endorse me in the next coming election, me set up certain mandates. Then the president turn around and say, well, the president of the union turn around and say, all right, what we musicians need. Then we negotiate. And then the government get the endorsement of the union. And that 7 times 7 counts. Because when I go home as a musician now and I say, well, you know, say me I endorse Andrew, or let me say Bruce Golden. Because I'm not in nothing. I don't want to sound like me I endorse no politician. Let's say me go home and me say to my wife, you know, say Bruce Golden are the man, you know, because him I go make this happen for musicians and so forth. Automatically my wife I go agree with me, you know, and say, yeah man, make we endorse him. Then she go for her workplace. I saw politician love a union. But them now go love a union if them can't control the union and have the union to say, well, them are going to do certain things to the union so the union can do certain things to them. What was the other question again? Mr. President, I think that was a 2-part question now.
Yes, it was a 2-part question. Organizations don't see trade unions as part of the fix. So organizations that are business places and the government, and why this is not so.
Them can't see it as a fix because they're the one who is destroying the music industry. So them could never see it as a fix. And look into this. Sandals is one of the leading ones who underpay and fight against musicians. Them is not the only one, you know, but them is the number one to do such things. So how you are going to expect them for really, you know, and them are cause the problem, you know. No, I have nothing against contractors. Nothing against contractors, right? What I have against is the peer system, how contractors pay musicians. And if musicians are supposed to get them 60,000, you know, business where the contractor come here, a lot of musicians are burn out the contractor them now. No burn out the contractor them. Make him charge where he want to charge. You charge where you want to charge. And you forget where you deserve. So I don't see it as any problem out there. Yeah, next question.
Yes, thank you very much, King Sports. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, our presenter, the great Jamaican King Sport, has suggested that you are not supposed to be signing as an entertainer with a management team in exclusivity within a year. You use that 1 year and you give them a grace period. And then based on their track record, that's when you make a decision to to accept them as a manager. All right. Now we have a question coming in, and if you're gonna present your question, we're gonna ask you to turn your video on and unmute your microphone. And right now we have Mr. Malik Case, who has his hands raised. Mr. Malik, could you please turn your video on and state your question, please, or give your input?
May I hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
All right then. Good afternoon to each and everyone.
Yes, Malik. Good
Blessed
evening.
afternoon, Malik.
My question is, I really want to ask, why do musician who is not a part of the EJR is charging below a maximum, but when EJA person like we are charge amount of money we are not required, and then we have the card like a card like a ID card, and if we charge for example 7 and the person who is not a part of this, why they are charging below and we can get more work out here? That is the question we really want to get in, because this is a serious note where we realize somebody said to me, so what day I said, them charge amount of money, and if me know, yes, what day I'm going to play somewhere, and the person them say them charge $4,000 to play at a church event, and me charge X amount, to me then a union, them say them can't work with that and rate it. Why that is so in the music industry? Why it's so bad for us? We in the union and we can't get amount of work out there, like hotels or church or anything you are doing in Jamaica also. That is the question we really want to get to know. What is the step?
Mr. President, you want to answer that one?
All right, no problems. Malik, number one, right now as it is, the Jamaican entertainment sector is filled with non-union workers, right? It should be a case where all contracts are union contracts, meaning that the union enforces all the occurrences that take place in the entertainment sector. That is the ideal. That is the dream of EJA. But currently, that is actually not happening and cannot happen. And when you enforce on behalf of persons, persons have got to be a member of the entity that is doing the enforcement, and two, has a direct handle and charge of the actual work environment, right? Now, persons will get away with charging less because currently the entertainment sector is unregulated, right? Eventually, they will have to, and this is a long-term thing. It's not a right now thing like in the next year, 1 or 2 years. We can't lock the entertainment industry in that time frame yet. However, the EJA are recommending that its members do not charge below a certain threshold. That's because one, you have to provide the resources with which you use to prepare your instrument, your internet, your research time, your bills, your clothes, your food, everything that incorporates in your well-being. That's number one. Number two is that if you take certain jobs underneath a certain pay grade, you will end up the loser more times than many. We're talking about destroyed equipment. We're talking about travel time that is in excess of, more than the equipment and the service that you provide. Now, seriously, it is a real sad case that persons are charging less than, a really comfortable amount. And we are working very assiduously as the EJA, the trade union, to ensure that these situations don't perpetuate, they don't go on for too long. So fixes are being instated in quick and short order. But Malik, I implore you, please, go ahead and persevere and only charge what you're comfortable with at the end of the day. Ensure that when you work and you're done working, that the money that is spent is void of, is not the majority of what you charge.
Malik.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, me remember you, now you did some running what, about 10, 12 years ago?
You can continue, sir.
Yeah, me remember you. Yeah, Malik, you say if you'd have joined the meeting early on, I was explaining a lot of things about how a union function, and that is one of the things. You know, the union can't control that because we don't have enough musicians joining the union. And you see, if we have everybody would join up in the union and all of the musicians them are say 80% of the musicians them are unionized, we wouldn't have that problem. We wouldn't have that problem when man a charge $2,000 for do one show, and next man a charge four, and next man a charge 15,000. We wouldn't have that problem, because the union would have make sure say them have to pay where the musician deserve. So that is one of our problem again right there.
So question though. What we can do to avoid less playing now, because right now, to be honest, it a get out of hand, and for example, for a 9 night, some man a charge 3 grand. If me go say me want a 10 grand for a 9 night, for example, me not gonna get that because I'm gonna look for the cheaper way. So what we can do as a union right now, what we can do, because right now, somebody, to be honest, a Nobel make me come in a union because me can't bother I work with this, and then no, it no make no sense, and me not feel comfortable. You know what I say? So what me want to know, what we can do to go further forward in a way we are right now. Because
All
the
right,
music
Malik.
industry, yeah.
Yes, I hear. Sorry for cut you off. Finish.
So we as a musician right now, remember say government now to do nothing for we, if we not push we now get no or we want it, you get me I say? So the basically what me I try to say, if we come together, not really going to Jamaica to that. If we come together as a union, as the church and other events, we can better off and get a piece of food more than summer charges, and then no bad for we as a union.
Yeah, Malik. Right. All right. So what we can do, number one, ensure that the craft or the service that you provide is impeccable. Grade A. It is above standard, right? I have found, and I can speak directly to that as as a person that has also played dead yard, night, funerals, churches, the whole works. I don't charge for night. I don't charge nothing less than $6,000, you know. And I used to play the keyboard, and that was what 2007, between 2017 and 2018, 2016 and 2019, right? And I get what I want. You know why? Because one, the band was very good. You understand? And not only that, the band was very good in terms of sound, but the vibe that we brought was way different than every other band. Yes, there are a whole heap of other bands out there. However, what we provide was impeccable. Everybody could have only said, you know, so then good, and the bass is hype, and the keys is hype, and the singer, you understand, and the sound. So for one, the craft must be good, equipment must be good, and what the service that you provide is impeccable. So you provide more than you actually are requested. So if you can provide lighting, provide the lighting. If you can provide DJ services for when you break, provide that as well. If you need to get 2 singers to bring a decent vibe, do that as well. You understand? On top of that, do not, as I say, charge less than you think you are worth. Do not charge less than you are worth. Believe me, if you're good, you will get what you ask for, right? And the third thing is that we just have to try to bring, first of all, the people that we work alongside. Let's bring them on board the EJA, because the more persons who come apart is the more voices we have, because EJA is currently in dialogue at the government level. So we're imploring at the government level to ensure that we get things instated and in place for the entertainment industry in terms of regulation. We're fighting our hardest to get that regulation on board so that we can say, yes, don't do this, don't do that. Or if you do that, it is a ticketable offense. Until such a time, we just have to play our part in providing a great service and being very good at what we do. Hope that answers your question.
Okay, but that don't really sound bad, bro. But alright then. If not no more question,
yes. All right.
come.
Yes, and thank you for the input.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so very much. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for joining. If you're on Facebook or Instagram, you are welcome to continue sending your messages in, your comments, and your input. Our host is currently off camera. He'll be back shortly. But today we are discussing the purpose of a trade union, how to pick a management team. And of course, as I said before, our esteemed presenter, the great Jamaican King Sport, had directed that you give a manager a choice of, well, a probation period of 1 year before you choosing them as the management, right?
1 year probation period.
We also went through the history of the union, and that can still come up again. And we are going through we also went through what the necessity of a union is, and how, as I said, how to pick a management team. Those are the points being covered today. Now, earlier, we saw Mr. Novell Myers coming in, and Mr. Novell had his hand raised. We're going to ask Mr. Novell to turn on his video and unmute his microphone and go ahead with his question.
Yeah, greetings everybody. Blessed afternoon.
Could you turn your video on, please, Novell?
I'm currently there at the hospital, so I never really want to do that.
Oh, all right, not a problem. Go ahead. So your input. Go ahead.
my thing is this. Me hear one gear asks a question pertaining to the rate. But my thing is this. Wouldn't the rate verify from pertaining to how qualified you are as a musician too? So it be a bit difficult for unions to really set a rate unless we have to set a rate whereby we can say, all right, don't pass 7 grand or don't pass 6 grand or whatever. So that's just my question still. How would that work?
Okay, Kingsport, is it me or is it you?
Um, you see, me not
Because
like
that
answer. Well, have it. Me not like answer them questions. I know that's why me turn it over to you,
That's
Mr.
okay.
President. Because well, hear my reasoning. You
yeah.
see, I like to start from the root, Marcus Garvey talk about that, You see,
Uh,
the root of the matter, we're having all of these problems because the people them won't join the union. And majority of the successful musicians them out there and singers are so goddamn selfish they will not endorse the union because me I talk to a well-known and popular more than one of these guys. And the first thing them said to me say, union never put them with them there.
yeah.
You understand me? So if we get the musicians them to join the union, unionize, organize, and centralize, are my three main word those. Once we have the union members, that is how we get power. That is how we can talk. That is how we can negotiate with government to get certain mandate to set to protect the rights and benefits of musicians because we are not subservient workers. So much brilliant people in the industry that has created and developed our industry worldwide. I'm talking about from Broadway, talking about from Shakespeare come right up the line. So royalties is still being paid to Shakespeare companies. And these things go back from in the 18th centuries. So even our own first music union in Jamaica, the Constitution was written by some brilliant people, lawyers, and people who are artistically inclined to the arts, not just music. So we're having all of these problems because we won't go down to the root and start from the root. Right now, the industry have deteriorated so badly. All we have to do, Novel, is talk to the fellow musician like how you talk to one gear, And one gear saying join the union because of you. Now, when may I say, if we continue doing this, each one brings one to the fullness, we can take care of all of these problems, but these problems are not going to go away if we don't join the union. All right, Mr. President, you can say
Yes,
what you need to
Novel.
say.
Also, to add to what Kingsport has inputted, EJA had revised minimum. What EJA can enforce is a minimum for its members to not charge below. So I can go ahead and say to you, say, hey, don't charge below this amount. Do not charge below this amount. But this is not specifically what you are worth. You got that? So what you charge is what you think you are worth. However, in all that you're doing, do not charge below this amount. And on the screen, I know you can see on the screen the recommendations made by EJA. And your for the area that you specify and highlighted one gear says he plays with dead yard band from time to time. That's line number one, and the engagement type is casual, right? And each member of the band must get $40 minimum for the first 2 hours. Anything after that has to be paid in overtime rates. And it is suggested that your overtime is what? 50% of your total charge, Kingsport?
Yeah.
Right. So for the first 2 hours, them engage you for 3 hours. You know that the minimum that you're going to charge for the first 2 hours is $40 and an additional $20 for the additional hour. And of course, this is in US dollars. You can work it out at the exchange, the prevailing exchange rate at the time of the agreement. But again, I did not say charge $40. I did not say you are worth $40. What I am saying is that you do not charge below this amount, which means you can charge $80, $160, $3,200, depending on how good you are. Yes? Novel, can you unmute your mic again and respond if you so choose?
Well, you basically said it all, because that was what me da look for still. Because it, as I said, it would be a bit difficult for just set a rate like that. But when me see the whole what do you call it, the graph that you posted, we can work from there. So
yes. So this is the baseline, people. We are not saying that this is what you are worth. Because if it's me and I'm going to work, if I'm going into studio to do a track, I'm going to charge you at $55 per hour. And if I'm coming to your event as a soloist without an instrument, you are providing the instrument, you are providing the equipment, I am going to charge you $75 an hour. And if it is over 25 miles, I am going to charge you as $275 an hour. So if you listen to the rates that I am calling out, it is way above this minimum here.
Yeah.
So we are saying charge what you think you are worth. However, no musician is worth below the amounts that are currently displayed on your screen. Okay, moving forward. Thank you again, Mr. Novel Myers, big bassist. Thank you for also introducing Mr. One Gear, good old Mali Case, into our fold. And we once again want to highlight, ladies and gentlemen, that this is a Let's Reason workshop, the first of its kind in the series that is upcoming and will be ongoing for the Entertainers of Jamaica Association. We will be advertising in the future as to what comes next and when it comes next. And of course, as per usual, our members will be sent an email. If you have not received an email, let us talk after we're done, or you can message me privately. The chat window is available right here on Zoom. You can go ahead and select my name. The host. You can select the host and message me privately if you don't want to share to everyone. Sir Kingsport, our esteemed presenter today, there's another question that came in earlier before Mr. Novel Myers presented, so I will present that now. It's asking, why doesn't a trade union find jobs for its members?
No, that's not the job of a trade union, man. That's the job of an agent, or the job of the manager of the artist or band. A trade union, that's not our role to find jobs for people. Our role is to protect you while you're on the job and off the job too. I hope that answer your question, sir.
Yes, it's actually definitive and to the point, Kingsport. One more question. How does a trade union protect my rights?
First thing first, the trade union work off of your contract that you have with the individual or company that you're working with. Then the trade union go through your contract and see where they are violating your rights on the contract. But the contract is the main focus. Now, if you don't sign a contract now, it get tricky right there. But the EJA somehow find a way to work around that and help the musician in need.
Thanks again, Sir Kingsport. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been here for some time, almost, well, yes, we're almost to the 1 hour mark. I don't see any other questions. I don't see any other hands raised. Oh yes, I see one more hand raised. Before we go, we're gonna have Mr. Malik Case give his presentation. Once again, Mr. Malik Case, could you turn your camera on, please? And we are thereafter going to ask Kingsport for a summary, and we will be on our way. Malik Case.
All right, then. Like, what is going on so far, isn't it? Although I never joined it. But anyways, to what Nobel was saying on Kingsport, I think it cover everything. But we as a union now, we have to know. I question you before I go to that. The government know about this union, right? In
Yes.
Jamaica. Okay,
Yeah.
good. What I am seeing there, to recommend somebody, like how Nobel recommend me to the union and thing. You have to know the person background. All right, no?
Yes. Yes.
All right, then. To be honest, it was kind of tricky because sometimes I put up my ID for my status or for Facebook and so. For my story, not for Facebook, for my story Facebook. And many people say I text me, oh, you join the union and I have to tell them. So I say, no disrespect thing. You have to know your background, you have to know everything about you before. So I'm gonna say, like seriously, if they have to know all about that. So I have to say, yeah, I saw me get to come in a union as well. So my point though, oh somebody have to recommend somebody to a union, but they have to know somebody. Oh that. Because it's a kind of hard.
Well, what I can tell you though, one gear, is that for one, you don't specifically have to, for persons to join the trade union, you specifically don't have to know that person individually as a member or as a person doing a recommendation in order to introduce them to this trade union. What happens though is that the process does the investigation. So once you introduce them to us, the trade union, EJA, we will thereafter collect the necessary information from the individual and do the necessary background checks on that individual. So you specifically don't need to know everything about that person. You don't even have to know that person. It's just that you played on the same event together and they ask, hey, I see you with the union ID. How I get one of that? And you say, okay, I will introduce you to the EJA. The EJA will then do the necessary research from there. So we are not asking you to actually go out, research somebody's background because you really don't have time for that. And you're not going to know everybody. It's the same way for us. We're not going to know everybody and we're not going to know everybody's background. However, we have the different devices in place, the different systems in place, the different processes in place to research you. Because when you became a member, we had to research you.
Yeah.
So even though recommended by Novel, Mr. Basie Myers, we had to, in ourselves, do individual research on you. And that is all of that information is gotten from the information that we request of you.
Oh, so all right then. Good answer. But suppose we don't know the person in person and then link no one out with you.
Recommend them to us, we will do the research.
Okay then. So question. Independence and half a link on EJA. Oh, what me have to do? Send them a number or we don't know, we don't have a number so.
Well, we will provide the necessary, we will definitely provide the links, and we need to do that somewhere because we have social media platforms and we have phone numbers available. So we'll definitely do better work at getting that information out. You are part of many groups, right?
Yeah.
And if you look in those groups, you see admins. In all of those groups, you see admins, at least 13 persons.
Yeah, man.
If you give any one of those numbers, that will work as a member.
Okay, then, cool.
Yes.
That sounds much better.
Yes, so any one of those numbers that are marked admin, and I know you're in all of those groups.
Yeah, chair the group then.
Yes, sir. Anyone that says admin, that's the one that you choose to recommend.
Okay, then. I just want a clear understanding.
No problems. And it's an excellent question too, because I mean, many persons might even leave without asking that question and had that question in mind.
Yeah, I have a next question though.
Go ahead, One Gear.
As nobody said, if you not qualify enough and you're in the union, I think say when you charge amount of money and then not really pay you for that. You have to sign a contract or it can be an agreement to what the person said.
Well, from a union perspective, any agreement, like you and I are talking now, any conclusion that we come together on is deemed in the eyes of the law a contract. However, Kingsport and the EJA are recommending that you use a written contract. And EJA has a contract for you. So if you need a contract, just reach out to any one of the EJA admins in the members chat room, and you will be provided a contract that is individualized to your situation. And you use that, you write the money amount, sign it, that person agreed to it, and all of this take place after you did the discussion and you agree that this is what is required. So as I'm saying, a written contract is recommended. Always try to do all your work agreements with a written contract starting out the entire thing. And if you can't, try to record a conversation between you and the persons doing that agreement.
Okay, so okay. So
guess what? Yes, I am saying the contract or the is just a method of proving that you had a certain discussion and a certain agreement that if things go bad, because that's why you write the contract, you know, if things go bad, meaning one or more agreements have not, or one or more things have not been honored in our discussion. You and I, we had an agreement, and one or more things was not honored. Then we can draw on you later and say, hey, but this was our discussion, and this is a breach, and here is your penalty now for that.
Okay, so we have a next question because we don't want to look at meetings, isn't it?
That's okay.
So if we do a recording it can help as well.
Yes, a recording is very good.
Alright, good. That me want to find out. Suppose the person text me with an agreement.
Text message is also good. That's called a written agreement. That also can be
Okay, good.
used as a contract. Well, that is a contract. That is what we're
Okay.
recommending. You write it or have it in writing.
Okay. Suppose I don't have the chance to do like a written contract as well as like papers come to you and you have to sign the EJ have a letter to sign to them and so suppose me not get a chance.
That is why I say everybody have a phone. Everybody can record on them phone. Whether voice note, whether you use WhatsApp and do a voice note, or you turn on the actual recorder on your phone if you can find it, and you say, all right, this is agreement between me, Mr. Malik Case, and Mr. Novel Myers. And Mr. Novel Myers say yes, and we are agreeing that we're going to be going into business together. I am providing him with whatever and he's going to pay me this and that. Novel will say, yes, I agree to that. And your entitlements, we're entitled to food, we're entitled to water, we're entitled to a change room, we're entitled to a place to relax, we're entitled to whatever. Run over the wall, jump over the building, swim in the ocean, see he or she or the old lady. As long as you have that in the presence of both persons, then a recording is good and or a written contract is very good.
Okay then. So question though. If you don't get the amount of what you require and it gone to bad, you guys have a lawyer to defend, right?
EJA will do whatever is necessary. Once the report is made, EJA will do whatever is necessary legally to ensure a quick resolution to the situation being experienced. So once there's a violation, the first thing that you are going to do is you make an official report to the executives of the Entertainers of Jamaica Association, and then everything that is required to bring your grouse, your issue to a good solution for you to your benefit, that will be committed and done by the EJA.
That does sound bad. Question, you think say on a Sunday, like for church, you know say the minimum wage around to 6 to 7, right? No less than that.
The minimum wage is what?
Or no, for I don't know if it's for 6 to 7. No, for a church, like
Yeah, man,
a
a church is still, guess what? You know, that is still viewed as a performance. So King Sport, your mic is muted. So I would say that that is still a casual event. So for up to 2 hours, we are recommending that you charge a minimum of $40. So if you can charge $7,000 or $10,000 or $15,000, then do that.
suppose you're all right. Suppose you play for a church, but them not do them after praise and worship, them not do too much singing to that. And then contract every month them pay around call it around 24,000 every month for a Sunday when I get it on a Sunday. Suppose for the week or for the month, you have 4 Sundays in a month, isn't it?
You're
And you
charging
get
$6,000 a Sunday.
yeah. It, what is your take on that? Yeah?
Well, that's still a great pay. I mean, That's a great agreement, I must say, not a great pay. That is a great agreement. If that is your agreement, that is your agreement. You're still above the minimum suggested amount.
So Modo, so that means suppose that then up, but you're not playing like the whole service, just for the praise and worship. I don't know preacher come on and then do them look the half, and so, but then we not play so long and the song them not long over that the service so long. What do you think?
Well, whether it long or whether you
Well, sorry for butting, but now I go cut, now I go leave the meeting because I have other engagement. Malik,
yeah. Guess what?
Yeah,
Kingsport, I want you to actually close out. One gear. We will take this to the membership chat room and we'll discuss it there, okay?
yeah.
all right.
Cool vibe. Kingsport, the floor is yours. Please, your summary.
Yes, my summary is actually advice. I suggest that all of the musicians who are unionized musicians, the EJ and so forth, go out and spread the word. The more the merrier. Each one brings one to the fullness. We need more members because the more members we have is the more powerful we are. And we can curve the industry. And we cannot do this without the help of the government. And the government respect and are afraid of numbers. So the greater the number is, and the more fear them have. And as we say, musicians are not subservient workers, we are stars. We are guests inside of these people establishment. And as such, we should be treated. So I'm asking all of you musicians who have sense, spread the sense, spread it around. Because say, cents are dollars and cents, If you don't have cents first, you're not going on dollars. How much cents make a dollar? A 10, no? Right. Them say them give it 5.
100
So,
cents, 1,000 cents make a dollar.
right. So here what make we use with cents and spread it around so we can make some dollars. And with that, I close. Take it over, Mr. President.
Gentle folks, we want to thank you for being here. To our presenter today, Mr. Everton Walton, the great Jamaican Kingsport, we want to say thank you very much for taking the time out, being here to present to us in a manner that you have done. You have been very explanative, you have been very clear, and you have been very precise. Thank you for your knowledge shared, and we look forward to future workshops with you. And with that, we want to bring this first workshop for the EJA to a close. Gentle folks, you will be advised as to future workshops. Once again, thank you for being a part. Thank you for, just taking the time at being here. Once again, Kingsport, thank you very much. Godspeed.
Yeah, man. Bless up, everyone.